So today we have no attendees for the class. So I'm going to go over a couple of basic breathing techniques that we can use in our yoga practice, our physical yoga practice, but also that we can use as a personal single practice of just working on the breath as a way of enhancing the life that we're feeling in our body. So starting out, I always prefer to sit on a block or a folded up blanket. Using support here gives our pelvis the space to take on the proper rotation and the proper orientation to support the rest of our spine. We have to see that this part, our pelvis, supports everything else here when we're sitting. So the orientation of this very much determines the shape of the rest of our body moving up. So sit on your support. Warm up the knees. Massaging those muscles and tendons that connect to the knee joint, just to soften them. Pull your left heel in to your support, into your pelvis. And take a second to adjust your pelvis so that you are on the forward part of your sit bones. So trying to sit as forward up onto the pelvis here as we can. Just to start out, and pulling the heel in, grounding the shin to the mat, to the top of the foot. Then taking the right heel and placing it in front of the left. Again, shifting our weight forward so we can drop this shin and the top of this foot onto the mat. Pull everything in tight. Rock your weight forward and then sit back. From here, we'll find the curve of our low back. Become supported and natural instead of being rounded and slouched. Rolling our weight forward onto the grounded parts of our legs, and then using our support, pulling in. So we're grounded all through here and supported in the base of our spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Lift the shoulders. Exhale, relax. Shoulders drop down and back. Chin lifts, back of the spine lengthens. Comfortably tall. Hands can come out and rest on the knees. But I suggest turning the hands upward. One, to open the diaphragm, and two, to externally rotate the shoulders and support our shoulder posture, which tends to draw and fall inward. Keeping that open simply by turning the palms up. You can see the shape of my elbows comes in and externally rotates. Take Take a moment to close your eyes. Simply check in with your own body. After the past week of working or playing or vacationing or being lazy, whatever it was, just notice how that's affecting your body right now. Before trying to interpret how the body's feeling, simply just give yourself that space to feel. Before trying to think of any conclusions about what you're feeling, just open that space of how am I feeling? Open-endedly. In the body, how does my hip feel? How does my back and my neck feel? How do my joints feel? Are my muscles tight? Are they loose? Are they sore? Are they crampy? Inhale through the nose. And exhale out of the nose. Take the time to find thoughts, emotions, or feelings that are weighing down on your mind. Perhaps something happened this week that we're still trying to process. Find awareness of that and release it for just a moment, just setting it aside, putting it on pause for just a moment. Give yourself permission to release that pressure just for a moment for today. Maybe you're looking forward to something, or you're excited about something, or you're confused about something. Take that feeling, allow yourself to forget it simply for a moment. Breathe in through the nose, soften the cheeks. Exhale out of the nose. We're going to go over some ways of practicing our deep, complete breath. For this, I like to place my left hand onto my belly. So to ground all the surface of your hand into that space on your abdomen. And either keep the right hand open on the thigh, or you have the option to place it over the sternum. With your inhalation, we're going to breathe through the nose. Breathing through the nose in some minute ways does purify the air that we're breathing, and it makes the air more warm because it passes through our nasal passage. So we're going to breathe through the nose, and we want to work towards making our breath slow, controlled, and aware. So breathe in through your nose and notice what changes in your diaphragm and in your belly. Maybe explore how your breath is on a regular basis. Maybe find that regular everyday breath. We'll notice that everyday regular breath is pretty shallow and happens more within here. Take a moment to fill your diaphragm from the bottom up. So breathe in through your nose and fill your belly. And then continuing to breathe in, then notice how the chest starts to expand last. Exhale out of the nose. Finding awareness of how we're filling our diaphragm with air in our lungs. Breathe in through your nose and into your belly and the chest. And exhale, release some of that chest breath. And then release the belly. As you fully exhale, let all the air come out. Notice how your belly sinks in. Inhale through your nose, filling up completely from bottom to top. Exhale, release all of the air completely. Noticing how this softens down and then the belly empties. Continue once more, inhale into the belly. To the chest. See how our whole rib cage expands at that last part of our inhalation. We could fill up in the last couple seconds of our inhalation. Our rib cage expands. Exhale, soften the ribs and empty the belly. You can imagine like filling a glass of water and then letting that glass empty out. Same with our breath. So practice 3, feeling into it. Bring our awareness in each aspect of the breath as we fill. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale deep into the belly. Trying to fill up from the root. And then let that lighter breath fill up the rest of the ribs. Exhale. Ribs soften. Keep your hand grounded into your belly. As you finish the exhale, the belly sinks in. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Release your hands back down to your side. Palms up on the knees. One more deep breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the nose. This is our complete full breath. By breathing in this way, we're introducing more basic energy into our system. Our breath is what connects us, the physical body. If our breath stops, our physical body stops. Okay? And it connects us with the rest of our surroundings as well. As our surroundings are an accumulation of nature. Simply breathing in and breathing out, you're making an exchange with your atmosphere. And you're making an exchange with the plants, which give us oxygen. This is what our cells use to create energy. So just enhancing the amount or increasing the amount of oxygen and breath in our own system, we can increase that sense of vibrance in our life, in our experience. From there, we can begin to become more mentally attuned to our breath. Start to begin to use it more like an instrument. We can tap into each subtlety of how our breath feels. To do this, we want the breath to be slow. And there's a really effective way of making this happen with a breath called Ujjayi. So with Ujjayi breath, we're constricting an opening in our throat. You imagine when you fog up a glass, tightening our throat, and we're releasing that warm air in a concentrated way. We're not just going, aha, it's more concentrated. So with that same constriction that happens in that we hear that sound, that ocean sound. We're doing that with our mouth closed and through our nose. By restricting that opening just a little bit, we limit the amount of air that's passing through here. And we can fill more slowly. We can breathe more slowly. So we'll start by just taking a regular deep inhale. Tighten that throat a little bit as if you're going to fog up a glass, but keep your mouth closed and exhale out of the nose and make an ocean sound. Inhale, regular inhale. And then as you exhale, same thing. Trying to make that noise. And now try it on the inhalation. Start out, make the noise loud and audible. And just noticing how that slows down the pace of your breath. And the vibration that it creates, the sound that it makes, helps to attune our awareness to the breath as well. Really, when we're practicing this, though, we want the breath to only be audible to us, not to the people around us. Just audible enough to us so that we can pick up on that sensation and so that we can tune into that sound and that vibration. But this breath should not be harsh or very intense, very loud. So try the same thing, but softer this time. So breathe in. Notice how by breathing soft and still maintaining that tightness and that sound, our breath suddenly becomes easily very slow. Exhale. One more. Inhale very slowly, soft. And exhale, soft. Keeping that throat engaged and our awareness on the breath. So ideally we would practice just breathing in this way. And first just feeling that and thinking about the pace of our breath. Then we can begin to see how we can use that to slowly incorporate with our full breath or incorporate with shallow breathing. And by doing that, we can start to regulate the pace of our pulse and the way that we pump blood through our body. So this is something to practice, and also something to help maintain a steady, even breath in a yoga practice. Simply making the breath still and steady, the mind will then form to that steadiness. And if the mind and the breath are steady, those two things are what are governing the rest of our body and the rest of our action in a yoga practice. So by making these two things steady, we can make our bodies steady, strong, and in control. That is Ujjayi breath. I want to touch on how in these breathing exercises as well, we are actually not truly looking at the breath. We are truly looking at the sensation of the breath. With more experience, maybe we can start to see the breath for itself. But for me, and I think for a lot of us, our point of understanding is the sensation of the breath, not the breath itself. And is the same thing with actually anything that we perceive through our senses. Knowing that a flower with thorns on it appears to be colorful, appears to be spiky, appears to have fragrance. But all we really know is our sensation of that thing. At some point, we want to expand our sensation of self to experience that thing on another level, but at least for the gross senses, when we understand that thing, we understand. We think, oh, it's spiky here, colorful here, fragrance here. But each one of those things are sensations that are happening within our own body. And so on one level, that is a mechanism, sensation for knowing something. Sensation is what happens in our body first. Then it is how we interpret that sensation that gives our mind an understanding of something. And while that's very obvious and simple, it becomes less obvious with other people. For example, the person slowing you down in traffic, you're trying to get somewhere. Maybe he's swerving, maybe he seems dangerous, maybe he has some stickers you don't like. Maybe a loved one who lied to us or did something that hurt us. Maybe a coworker who imposes negativity with his or her words onto us. From all of these experiences, we gather a sensation of that thing in front of us. Wherever our attention is, prompts our sensation. But simply the sensation is only that. Whether we decide is it pain when we touch the thorn, or is it beautiful when we smell the fragrance? That's the interpretation. The same with someone in front of you in traffic. For a lot of that, we feel maybe a sensation of slowness that's unwanted. And so the interpretation of that is that we become anxious, angry, confused, fearful, or someone who hurt us. may give us a certain sensation that we respond with sadness or anger. Essentially, our experience of something, whether that's a simple object or a person, is not the responsibility of that person or that object. It's the responsibility of our own perception, creation of sensation in our body. Let's say after a long day of work, you're very tired, physically exhausted, physically drained, annoyed, maybe. There may be a sensation of tiredness and wear and achiness in our bodies. How we choose to respond to that is something that happens within us. And so just seeing simply that instead of saying, oh, this person or this place or this day or this circumstance is making me feel this way, just seeing that this is a response that is happening within you. Seeing it as I'm responding to this situation in this way. The person who maybe you're angry with, making the distinction that they can never make you angry. You can only make yourself angry in response to them, based on whatever sensation that they impose in front of you. The feelings, the interpretations, whether something is beautiful, not beautiful, ugly, or amazing, that part is happening and being determined within ourselves. Maybe it's decided for us by our physiology or decided for us by our unconscious mind. But the important thing is that it's happening within us, not within them. We can be very, very angry at someone for weeks and they will never feel anything. If we just simply sit and become very angry at them, that doesn't change their experience, because the anger is something that we're creating within ourselves. I forget this all the time, especially while working. When other people speak in ways or move in certain ways that express a lot of anxiety, negativity, it's easy to feel that in response, but know that that is a reaction and it is being created within our own bodies. And so it's our responsibility to make that less of a reaction and more of a response. Just by being aware enough to see, I am the one who's creating these responses. Now we can start to consciously manage how we respond. If we're stuck thinking, they are responsible for how I feel. They're the ones making me feel terrible all the time. My boyfriend's making me feel mad all the time. He's so annoying. He annoys the crap out of me. No. Simply, he's not acting the way you want him to act. And so we respond to that with an annoyed feeling, or we respond to that with an angry feeling. This appears obvious, but it's something I think we could all practice. The simple awareness of how we respond to the situations in our life and how immense it is that we actually govern our own experience by how we respond to it. Take this day to reveal an extra layer of awareness and consciousness about how we respond to the people around us. Knowing that the sensation or the feeling that is happening within your mind, the emotion that you're feeling, is being created within you. And however unfair that might feel, it is our responsibility because it is happening within us. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the nose. This is a deep gift to breathe, to be aware. And it is a great possibility to know that we have the potential to create the experience of life that we want to experience. Whether that's happiness or anger is our decision. Namaste.